What do you do if you are a composer and you have no gigs? You have no commissions, you've got no film scores to work on. What do you do? And this exact question is something that I find a lot of younger composers face when they're first starting out. It's kind of this weird sort of catch-22 for composer people. How do you get people to trust that you can write something for them if you don't have anything to show them already? Or, how do you become a film composer without having scored any films? These are scary questions, but they can actually lead to some of the most productive and some of the most fulfilling parts of your compositional life. So my name is Dave. I'm a composer, and this is the advice that I wish I had had when I first started writing music. So summer is kind of the ideal time for younger composers, right? Most of them are students who are on summer break, like here in the United States or wherever. And the responsibilities of school are gone. Many students get their first job during the summer and have a little bit more control over their free time. And when I say job, I do want to be clear, I don't necessarily mean like a music composing gig or even a music related gig. A lot of us don't have that. Like I didn't have that. I started out, I was a server for a very long time, just waiting tables and doing that whole thing. Whatever. You're not better or worse if you have a music job or not. Most of us don't get one right off the bat. Most people are stuck in this place where they kind of have to hustle, where you have to say, all right, I have my job, whatever is the thing that I'm doing, and then I have my time to write music, especially in the beginning, to get, to put enough time into your creative stuff where eventually it can take off and have a life of its own, and you don't need these other gigs. And it's a hard transition, when all you have known is school, which is why summer, I think, is like the ideal time for you to get a taste of how to balance your time at work and your time creating music, writing, doing the thing that it is that you want to do. When I say that you can launch your composition career this summer, what do I mean? Well, this is the secret. This is the whole thing. Learning how to build a body of work by delivering music consistently. That's it. That's the whole gig. Building a body of work by delivering music consistently. We want to create a body of work so that when we have future clients or future collaborators, they can get a sense of the things that we can do, that we're capable of. And you can't really show them what your music sounds like without having music for them to listen to. Whether you're a concert composer or film composer, whatever, I'm painting with a broad brush here, but whatever, niche that you're fitting in, if you don't have some stuff to already show, it's going to be hard to get them on board with, your future collaboration. So that's why we need the body of work. We need a number of pieces that already exist, that are out there in the world that they can interact with and see. And then delivering consistently is how we get comfortable with finishing the work. Knowing how to finish a piece is the real skill. Like that's what separates the amateurs from the professionals, is people who know how to finish a piece of music. Most people know how to start a piece of music. I'm going to write this new thing. I'm going to start it. A lot of us have started many projects, and only a few of those projects actually ever get finished. And that's really the special skill that you want to work on. That's what I'm proposing here. So, how do we do this? So first, you're going to pick an angle. You're going to pick something that you want to learn from. For example, like what I'll show you here, like if let's say I'm a young concert composer and I really want to, learn to be a better orchestrator, and I haven't really written for many of the different instruments yet. Well, what I would do is something simple, like I'd set aside like 10 weeks of the summer that I'm going to go for, and I'd hit each type of ensemble. Again, you're only writing like 1 to 2 minutes in length. You can do more, but hitting it like once a week, okay, let's learn about the string quartet and just do it and just dive in and write something and have it finished. That's going to be so helpful. Now, I recognize that not everyone's going to have different time constraints. Everyone has different responsibilities and things going on in your life. I remember when I was younger and I was like coming out of high school, I had a lot more freedom and time than I did later on than when I was like in college. So, when I was younger, I think I could plug away at like once a week, but you might find that you need 2 weeks at a time as you're first starting out. So this is how I would change it. Instead of having all 10, I would just go down to these 5, and I'll write for them and challenge myself with them. And that's how I'm going to learn. You learn by doing. You learn by trying and failing and writing these things and just diving in the pool. Keep in mind that you don't have to write super long pieces, right? You can write like 1 to 2 minute long pieces once a week, and that's extremely valuable. And it sort of seems counterintuitive, right? What I'm saying here is, well, isn't it supposed to be like quality over quantity, right? I would argue that when you're first starting out, you don't actually have a very accurate sense of what your quality is. Because you haven't written a lot. You know, you don't know what you're capable of because you just haven't done it a ton. This is, you know, at the very beginning. I guarantee that if you're writing, you know, through these 5 pieces or 10 pieces or however many you decide to do, you're going to learn so much from it. And also that one of them is going to be probably better than the rest. Maybe 1 or 2 of them, for whatever reason, they just have this different edge to them. That's you finding your quality through quantity. That's what I'm talking about here. Is one of those pieces will just have something extra to it, and you'll be able to understand why, because you can look at them compared to other things. So that's why, you know, writing these several short works can really help you sharpen your edge as a composer. Now, this just doesn't have to be for concert composition. I'm just mentioning this first because I feel like that's what many people are interested in. If you're a film composer, you might say, all right, I'm going to pick a cue, and I'm going to write a cue a week, and that's fantastic practice for your future reality. Oh, hey, I need to do this scene. I got to turn it around in a week. So you can go to something like the QTube or Midnight Music. You can also get it the old-fashioned way and just pirate the video and download it and do your thing. Whatever. Hey, we've all done it. We've all been there. Select a cue each week and then score it and get comfortable just working and making things. That's really the biggest thing. Also, film composer people, please put a comment below if you know of any other sources that are good to get these videos for practice. I only know a couple of them, and I'd be very curious what you guys would say. So leave me a comment. That would be, I want to help as many people as I can, but I'm not as knowledgeable in that particular area. For me, when I first did this, when I first started kind of figuring out this method and how much fun I would have with it, was when I was first learning about electronic music. You know, when I had trained as a composer when I was in school, really only learned about notation software. So I was very, you know, comfortable with things like Sibelius and going there, and that was really the only way that I knew how to like make music besides playing it live. So learning like a DAW, like when I got Logic, I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing with this. So I made a commitment. I was like, okay, every week I'm making a thing and I'm going to post it. And I post it on SoundCloud, and I still actually use a couple of those tracks from that summer in my portfolio today. There's a couple of them that, you know, were pretty good. And the others where they might not be as good, I learned something in the doing of the process. So it doesn't have to be, you know, specific to concert composition or film composition. There's different ways that you can do it. I'm like, hey, I want to learn Ableton Live. I'm going to do this. Hey, I'm going to do this orchestration project. Hey, I'm going to get better at choir music, or whatever particular thing. You can harness this in many different ways. The next part of this is that, all right, you're going to pick a day of the week that is your release day. Then you're going to say, all right, this is when I'm putting stuff out. So you say, all right, I'm going to release stuff on Wednesdays. So that's what you work towards. You work towards that release day. And let's be very clear here. For concert composer people, a score paired with like a MIDI, recording or mock-up is invaluable. That's because our world is focused on the quality of the score. You know, the performers and the conductors want to see what the score says. They don't really necessarily care so much about how the MIDI sounds. It helps when it sounds good, but that's not the focus. No conductor's like, man, I'm really digging this MIDI sound. They're thinking about, can my string players do this? Can they play this? That's why the visual for concert composers is actually kind of more important than the audio in some aspects. Score videos they're incredibly easy to make. You just literally screenshot the score after you finish making it, and then you just make sure it lines up with the audio. When I do it, I don't do anything special. I just do it in iMovie. Remember, you're making these to ultimately in the future share it with a conductor, or share it with a performing group that you want to work with, or performers or whatever. YouTube score video is kind of the ideal place for that. I strongly recommend, if you're interested in concert composition, that you do focus on the quality of the score, and that is a big part of it when you are putting it out in the world, more so than the MIDI. It's easy to think that the MIDI is the most important. In the concert world, it's a little bit less so. Now, the opposite is true for film world. For film composers, the posting the picture with the music is like absolutely essential, because you're trying to show directors, hey, I know how to read this scene. I know how to make your picture come to life in an exciting way, in a way that they want to hire you back. You have to have both. Like, if you just say, oh, I rescored this thing and there's no visual, we don't really, that's not the magic. So you having that, and again, YouTube is going to be an ideal place for that. It might get, copyrighted or whatever, probably. As long as your people can see it and see what you're doing and seeing how you interact with it, that's the most important thing. For those of you who are, however, not focused on that, like you're not focused on making scores for live performance, like in concert world, and you're not focused on music with media, you're just making tracks, just, songs or electronic or whatever. Oh yeah, then you don't have to worry about the visual medium, and something like SoundCloud will be great. Now, it still can be very helpful to have it posted on YouTube, one of the most powerful search engines in the world. I think it's like in the top 3 or something like that. It's, it's worth just having it in the mix. So all you have to do is, add a couple visuals, add some art. If you have a friend who's an artist, that can be kind of a fun collaboration, or someone, who makes digital art. Having it somewhere where it's visible and accessible, that's the most important thing. That's the whole gig. Each week you release it, you put it out into the world, and you want to be visible. You want to be discoverable. But remember, when you're first starting out doing this, when you're first putting things out there, you're probably not going to get a lot of traffic or any following at all. And that's great. That's totally okay. That's not what we're doing. You're posting so you have an easy way to share your music with future clients and collaborators. And that's it. You're not here for people to, for like 4 people to like your video or whatever. I mean, that's fun when it happens, but just remember that that's not the focus. So this brings us to the next part of the equation, which is finding the others and becoming a great audience member. This is the real truth of this whole thing. If you do not care about other people's art, they're not going to care about your art. And that's just how it works. Now, when I say art, I don't necessarily mean like visual art or anything like that. I mean the things that people do, right? Filmmakers make film. If dancers create dances, performers create performances. That's what you need to be interested in with other people. Otherwise, it becomes kind of a transactional sort of relationship, and you don't want that. You want it to be a real relationship, a real connection with each person. How would you feel if someone listened to your music and came up to you and said, "Oh my God, that was such a good piece of music. I loved how I didn't expect the ending, the way you did it that way, but it was just so cool, and I loved the harmony that you used, and that was a really amazing viola solo that you wrote." It was clear that they had listened to it, and they had very, they're reacting to it. You would probably feel like $1,000,000. I know I would. That's like one of the greatest feelings ever, when someone actually shows that they've taken the time to engage with something I've made. Like, I read people's comments on YouTube, and I'm like, oh, that's like amazing. I mean, really, like, it's very meaningful when someone engages with something that you have made. You want to become the person that you wish would come up and talk to you after the concert. You want to be that person for your collaborators, for your performers, for your directors, for whatever. And so you're going to find the others both in person and online. So if you want to do film, you kind of have to know filmmakers. You need to know directors. You need to know people who are in that world. So is there a film festival that happens in your town, or if not your town, then maybe your state or province or region, or wherever you live? Watch their stuff and give them a comment. Give them specific praise. Show them that you engaged with the work, and give them the kind of praise that you wish you got. Now, if you don't like it, and there's gonna be a lot that you don't like, and that's normal and a-okay, you just congratulate them. Hey, good job. Congrats on your premiere, and move on. You're not going to connect with everyone. That's normal. That's okay. But the ones that you do connect with, give them that extra little bit of time. It goes a long way. People remember that sort of thing. And you do that by showing them that you have engaged with something that they have made. Because then they're that much more willing to say, oh, thank you so much. Wow, like, what do you do? Oh, well, I write music. Oh, really? What have you been working on? Well, I have like 5 pieces so far this summer. So this is true for concert music as well. Are there classical music concerts happening in your town or state, province, region? Community orchestras, community band, community choir, whatever. See how many people you can connect with if there's an event or a concert or something. And, really, I mean, I say that it's easier said than done. We composer people, I've said this in numerous videos, that we're we're not the most like social of creatures, generally speaking. So if you can connect with one per event, I think is pretty good. Now, this person is not a composer, but a future potential client or collaborator, yeah, check in with them. If you do this, the number of people that you will know will compound over time, and that's just going to have such a positive effect on your career trajectory. Music is people. At the end of the day, that's what's going on. People make things happen. It's all people. And the more people you know, and the more people who know you and your work, the better it's going to be. If you can deliver music consistently while engaging with the art that other people make, that is a pretty successful combo. So here's the next counterintuitive thing about this, is that don't tell anyone that you're going to do this. Instead, just deliver the music, just simply and consistently. Because as soon as you go on Instagram, be like, I'm doing this challenge, I'm going to write, 18 string quartets every week, or before you've actually done anything, you're engaging with external motivation. You really don't need that, and you don't want that, and you really don't want to need that. That's like a really important thing. So instead, you just release it. You're on SoundCloud or YouTube or whatever. Not because everyone on earth is going to like it, because they're not, fun fact, but because you have decided that your word is worth honoring. That's the real trick, is keeping your word. So don't tell anyone. Just deliver the music. And you can share it after you've made it, and released it. Hey everyone, I made this. What do you think? And that's it. And if they engage with you about it, that's awesome. And it's going to feel very exciting. And if not, it doesn't matter, because you're going to show up next week with something better. And it's just going to keep compounding. It keeps going and going and going. So focus on being consistent. Show up every week. Release every week. Train yourself to be comfortable with the deadline. It's not your enemy. It's your friend. Deadlines make you do stuff. Sometimes doing stuff is not the most fun, but having done stuff, pretty good, pretty cool. Having written a whole bunch of stuff, it can be kind of grueling in the process, but I'm always glad that I have written something every single time. With each release, every piece that you finish, you will get better and faster. You will learn more about how you write and what you, specifically you, not anyone else, you need to be successful in your process. Remember, we all write slightly differently, but how we get to that result is different for every single one of us. And if you can learn to create music on a regular basis and do so consistently, there's not a lot you can't do. I mean, those are kind of the biggest things. One of the things that I get, one of the pushbacks I get to this is, but what if I only have so many ideas? I had 3 or 4 ideas, and I was like, all right, these are my really good ideas. I'm saving them for the right piece. I'm gonna save it for the right moment. And I used to think that you'd only have so many good ideas at a time. I was wrong. You will have better ideas in the future. Go ahead and use them. Just you'll be surprised at how much better your ideas are once you're forced to create them. It's not gonna feel great. It doesn't feel like that is true, that you will have better ideas in the future. The more that you can dance with the blank page, the faster and the better you will become at crafting new ideas. The other thing is letting go of writing the perfect piece. It's not going to be perfect. It will probably come up short. And that's great. That's good. You want that. Each attempt, you get closer. Don't be like me when I did my first piece. I took this, a year of my life, like all of 2012 to write a brass quintet. Is it an okay brass quintet? It's fine. It's not bad. I don't think it's a terrible piece, but is it one that I show people now? Oh God, no. Oh no. Oh no. It's not who I am now. And the pieces that you're going to create, they're going to become part of the past. There's something you're going to look back on. I would have learned so much more had I done this earlier than when I figured out to do this. Writing 10 pieces, one a week for a whole summer. Oh my God, I would have learned so much and engaged with it and just been such a better composer faster. Make this the summer that you can look back on in 10 years and be like, man, this is when I got started. It all started here. It's proof of concept. You will have work that you can come back and that you can listen to next year, and you can say, wow, I am like so much better than I was. And you'll have ideas that you can fall back on. There'll be a couple of them like, I really love this idea, and I didn't quite get it right because I didn't know about, the mixing and reverb or, whatever technique that I know now because I've done this. And you can take that and you can rework it, and it becomes a new thing. Plus, when someone asks for your music, you have something to show them. You have a lot to show them. You have a body of work. And when you show them that body of work, you aren't just showing, your great musical ideas. You're showing how committed and consistent you are. And that is invaluable. So to recap, you're going to pick an angle that you want to pursue this summer. Whether it's concert music or film music, maybe it's something like learning orchestration, or like me, I was learning electronics. Make an album and release it on Bandcamp. Whatever, it doesn't matter. That's up to you. You pick it. And then you're going to write 1 to 2 minutes of music per week. You're going to finish it. And then you're going to release that music on a platform like SoundCloud or YouTube. And you're just going to keep showing up every week. That's the gig. This is going to pair really great with being a great audience member. If you're able to find other people to collaborate with, other concerts, directors, dancers, whatever it is, and you can engage with them and appreciate their work, and then you have this great body of work to share with them, that's hard to beat. Now, here's the thing, is that this is not going to be easy. Look, there are going to be days that are awesome, that you feel like $1 million and the ideas are just flowing and you're just flying around and woo, it's great, and you feel invincible. And then there are also days that just really suck. And you're just like, I feel stupid and I don't know what I'm doing, and I just can't get the engine to start. And there are going to be days where you are not inspired, and there are going to be days where you're going to be like, I don't have the time. And here's the thing about time, and it sucks. I hate this. I hate it, but I hate it because it's true. You don't have time. You make time. Sucks, right? It's like, oh, well, all right. When you put it that way. But it's so true, though. It's so true. We don't have time. We make it. We decide that we're going to do something. Time, when I say that, I don't mean like, oh, you need to be a composer. You must write 6 hours a day. 30 minutes. 15, if that's what you have. The other thing, too, that really sucks is that you don't need to be inspired. You just need to show up and do the work. When you say, I'm just not feeling inspired today, that is you letting yourself off the hook. I don't have to show up because I don't feel inspired. That's not how it works. It's nice when you feel inspired to do it. We have a weird relationship with it. We think that inspiration comes first. Inspiration comes second. When we show up and start doing the work, you find the inspiration. You don't know that it's coming. You don't know when it's coming. It might be at the last minute of your session. It might be at the very beginning. It might be in the middle. I don't know. But it happens later. You get an idea. Oh, actually, what if we did this chord here? Or did that? It doesn't happen if you don't show up. Show up, and that you will find the inspiration. The biggest benefit that you're going to get from doing what I'm saying here is directly engaging with the two hardest things about being a composer: facing the blank page and then delivering the work, aka finishing it and shipping it. And if you can get comfortable with those two things, you're gonna have a great career. If you can do that, there's really not a lot that you can't do. If you love the process, you're gonna love what the process creates. Go kick some ass. Do it today. Don't wait. Absolutely, under no circumstances should you wait. You should go now. Turn this video off and like and subscribe. Okay. Don't wait. Do it today. Your future is today. Hey, thanks for hanging out with me. I really, really appreciate it. If you can, could you subscribe and like it? That helps me reach more people, and that's very meaningful to me. So if you can, I would greatly appreciate it. Leave me a comment. Did this work? Did it not work? What do you wish you did better? What did this unlock for you? What was the thing that you want? What's the thing that you wanted to learn? What was your goal? And if you decide to do this summer, I'm putting this out in May of 2024, and you decide, all right, at the end of the summer, I'm going to come back. Let me know how it went. Leave me a comment. I'm genuinely curious. I would love to see what you think. I had a blast doing this, and I honestly can't wait to do it again. Please reach out anytime. Leave me a comment. I read every single one. Best of luck to you. Cheers.